is if you're saved, your testimony don't stop. It keeps growing. You keep growing. Back in 97, when I first went to church, because someone from school was actually nice enough to invite me to church, I was shocked. Like, I thought they just wanted to bring me there and make fun of me because I was used to that. But no, the girl was actually sincere and invited me to church. And it was at Crossroads Baptist Church in Camden. And I got saved when I was there. But then, just like any other 15, 16-year-old kid, that's about as far as it goes, because nobody works with the youth. Nobody works with them. Like, they get saved, and that's why I'm trying to be better than what I was brought up through everything in life, through the church, through parenting, all of it. No one guided me as to, you got baptized, congratulations. Hey, you should definitely go read this scripture right here. No, nobody told me that. I got dunked underwater, so that meant I got to go to heaven. All right, see y'all later. So just like any other teenager, I get out of church and go on about life. But that, a lot of people would say that may not have been a real salvation. But I believe in my heart that it was, because God never left me. I left him, but he never left me. And that's why I truly believe once saved, always saved. Because if I would have lost my salvation, God wouldn't have been there to save me on those 3 different tours. I wouldn't be here today. God came through and saved me from every bit of it. It was in 2002 when I joined the Army. 2003, me and Anna met. 2004, we got married. 3 months after we met, we got married. It's crazy. And but hey, it's been almost 22 years, so it's all right. Yeah. So, it's a year later we had Corey. We got married February the 7th of 2004, and then February 21st of 2005 we had Corey. And Corey was 4 months old when I got orders to go to Iraq. Boy, that was the hardest thing I had ever faced in my life. A newborn baby, I've been married for just over a year. I was not ready for that. I hated life. It was horrible. And I wasn't. We went to church, like we have some of the people like that attend church here, like what I used to attend church once, maybe twice a month. Definitely be there for Easter, though. I'm a good person, but I didn't have that relationship with the Lord. I did not have what I have now. Okay, and that's because my testimony continues to grow, as does my faith and my relationship with the Lord. There's been several things that happened overseas that I should not have made it back from, but I did. My last time in Afghanistan, I re-enlisted. They gave me choice of duty station. I told them I wanted to go to Fort Rucker, Alabama. I actually did my homework on that one because I didn't want to deploy. I was tired of deploying all the time. I was in Iraq from October of 2005 to October of 2006. And then July of 2008 to July of 2009, I was in Afghanistan. And then January of 2011 to 2012, I was back in Afghanistan. It was like I was home for about 15 months each time and pack up and go right back. And it got old really fast, and I wanted to start spending time with my family. So I re-enlisted to Fort Rucker, Alabama, because they were non-deployable. I'm like, all right, I'll get to stay home for a little while. This will be nice. And everything was going great. My career was going great. I was being promoted like I was supposed to be. I wasn't getting in trouble. I was actually doing kind of the right thing as far as soldiering goes. Of course, I had that same soldier problem. I had that drinking issue. And I finally beat that one. Corey, you guys heard a little bit. I wasn't exactly a nice person. I wasn't the father that I needed to be. I was an authority figure. That's not what my kids needed. Um, I've had to do a lot of learning from that. I remember we went to a yard sale one day and I found a Nintendo 64 with a couple of games. I'm like, all right, so I bought that for Corey. I wanted Corey to experience a Nintendo 64. I thought that'd be great. A couple of days went by and he knew he wasn't supposed to play that Nintendo in the mornings before school. That was the rule. I got up and guess what? He was playing his Nintendo before school. I busted that Nintendo right there in front of him. I busted it to pieces because he had no business being on it. I was not a nice person. Sean, I'm sorry. You and Katie do not know my anger like your brother does. I know I get mad at you guys enough, but Corey definitely caught the blunt of my anger issues. And I hope I didn't scar him too much. But on to Fort Rucker. Once we got there, it's time to go to church. I felt this deep within me. I've got to go to church. And I've said before, we looked for a church and couldn't find one. That's not exactly honest. Because I'll tell you right now, I did not step foot inside one church. I'd spend the week when I left post, I would look at the outside of the buildings and no, that's too big. I'm not going to go there. I did not step foot inside of a single church. So guess what? I didn't find a church. So how can you find a church if you don't go into one and look? Because I wasn't looking. I said I was looking, but I wasn't. So I did this little thing that we all know not to do, but I did it. And, back in the day, it used to mean something. Today, it don't as much anymore, but a man has his word. That's one thing we used to have is your word. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, unless you're dead or in a hospital, you really need to be doing it. And I firmly believe that, and I teach my kids that. If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Well, I told the Lord when I prayed. I was out in the garage. I was sanding down this old cedar dresser. I wanted to refinish it. It was coming out great. I was happy with it. Messing up here and there, but it was giving it character, I thought. And I prayed this little prayer, and I told the Lord, I said, God, I know that I need to have my kids in church, but I can't find a church to go to, Lord. So I promise, when I retire from the Army, I'll get my kids in church. My career went down the drain almost immediately. Less than a year later, I was medically retired from the Army. I'd been hospitalized 2 or 3 times, and I didn't understand what was going on at the time. I was mad at the world. I was very angry, and them putting me out of the Army didn't make me any happier because that was my life. That's how I identified. I was a soldier. I really kind of planned on staying in the Army until I died. I had no intentions of getting out. There was no thought of getting out of the Army. That was my life. That was everything about me. So being able to identify after I got out, that was hard. Like, well, where do you work at? Oh, I'm retired. Dude, you're like 30. Yeah. That's kind of sucks. Like, then people start looking at you like, no, you just need them Social Security. You're just lazy. Okay, we know there ain't nothing wrong with you. Even family members say that kind of stuff to me. There ain't nothing wrong with you. Okay, well, you stay over there and I'll stay over here. But once we got back here, I kept my word to the Lord. I put my kids in that van and off to a Chalk Level Baptist Church where me and Anna got married at over in Camden. It's like, that's where met that familiar face, Mr. James Chumney. After it was a couple months ago in there, a lot of the things he was saying was starting to resonate with me, and I decided it was time to give my life back to the Lord, as I had not been living right at all, and it still wasn't. I still wasn't. But my story here is you don't have to get your life right to come to the Lord. You just come to the Lord. I mean, if you cut yourself, go ahead, get it all cleaned up before you go get stitches put in it. It's going to help, right? No, you just wrap a towel around it and go. No, I don't think anybody cleans up before they go to the hospital. There's just no reason. It don't make sense. We went to Brother James's church for several months, and then the church kind of got divided. It was the left side against the right side, the older members against those members, and it just seemed to be an argument all the time. So it's discouraging. And I quit going. I didn't want to quit, but I didn't want to go there anymore. It was not pleasant. So found another church. I went there for a couple of visits. And then once you miss church this Sunday, it's a whole lot easier to miss next Sunday. Once you miss this month, well, I missed all last month. I ain't even going now. I ain't gonna even break this cycle, I guess. So that's why I don't like to miss church. If doors are open, I'll really just soon be here. There's nowhere else I want to be at. In Genesis, it talks about giving 1/10 of everything. Jacob's talking about it. Gives 1/10 of everything to the Lord. Time, tithes, and talents. You know the easiest thing on that list is to give? The tithes. Because you can just give it. You can just give it. The time is the hardest. 2.5 hours a day. That's 17 hours a week. Going to church Sunday morning, night, and Wednesday night. That's not 17 hours. I'm sorry, y'all. So that's why we have to do Bible studies. We have to run things at home with our families, especially us men. We have to step up and be leaders of the house because that's what we are. But it was in 2016 when we bought our house out here in Cedar Grove. We drove back and forth to Camden. We had started going back to Chalk Level because the church they pushed Brother James out. And I wasn't there when all that had happened. But we kind of started going back to see if things had calmed down. But over half the church had already left. The church was going down fast. In fact, I don't know that it's open today. But we went there, and me and Anna started running the church bus over there. We enjoyed doing that. But then we were living out here and driving all the way to Camden to run the church bus. And on Sundays, we didn't get to come home until night. So it was getting to be a lot, and nobody else in the church wanted to do anything to help out. And it gets hard when nobody else, when you have other church members, especially ones that live like right next door to the church, like or less than a mile away. It's like, why can't you help out? I'm not trying to judge people, but I mean, good grief, come on, help. And so we got discouraged and we quit going. And then from there, we didn't go to church for a while. I started drinking a lot, doing all kinds of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing, being angry, breaking stuff. I don't know. I think majority of y'all been in my house. If y'all noticed my built-in oven, got that nice, beautiful, busted-out glass door. That was my anger. My wife's she won't let me replace it. It's a reminder. It serves as a reminder of what my anger does. We had that oven for less than a week when that happened. We had just wasn't even paid for it. We didn't make the first payment on it yet, and I broke it. So that's what anger gets you. It gets you broken stuff, broken relationships, and leads to a miserable life. There was a trip over in Afghanistan that I can guarantee that the Lord pulled me out of. It was I did several recovery missions. I loved recovery missions because nothing made you feel more alive than doing a recovery mission. Like, you're on the edge of your seat waiting to see what's going to happen because you don't know. And it's fun because you get to go off-roading. You get to drive through all kinds of crazy fun stuff. And it's a blast. Well, me and my buddy, I'm actually going to get a hold of him one day and see if he still has the video. Because we made a video that day. But this recovery mission, it wasn't nothing serious. The truck was just broke down. Somebody didn't put the fuel cap back on. And the whole system got clogged up with sand. So the truck couldn't run. That's natural. That's a common problem. Okay. So all we had to do is hook up to the truck and tow it home. With all those diesel engines out there, and I know you guys have seen the movies, and I'm not saying the real thing's anything like the movies because it's not, but it was kind of like the movie that day. It got quiet. I've got 10 trucks circled around me, and I can't hear nothing. I can't even hear those trucks running. It was just weird. Something felt off. And then you hear this loud whistle. When you hear it, it's too late. If you run, it might hit you. If you don't run, it might hit you. So your best bet is to stay where you're at. Well, that's what I did. And it was an RPG. It landed about 20 feet past my wrecker on the other side. Thank you, Lord. That He saved me on that one. When I turn back around, all I get is that deafening ringing. I was like, what's going on? And everything was like slow motion. A little mushroom cloud like right there in front of my feet coming up. It's like, what is that? Why is there a cloud in front of my feet? It's so weird. And then the ringing started going away. And I hear weird sound. Tink, tink, tink. Oh, they're shooting at me. So it's time for me to move. That was the bullets actually landing at my feet, like probably going under my feet. That was pretty incredible. And naturally, when I had all those gun trucks around me, I didn't have my rifle on me. I mean, they just got in my way trying to get that truck hooked up. So me and my soldier went and hopped back in the truck, and that was an interesting night because I didn't know we didn't have comms with the convoy that took us out there. So we did not know that they called in an airstrike. When you hear a jet fly over and all you know is RPGs have been flying over you for a bit, and you hear one of those F-16s come through, you don't know what's going on. It's really scary. Oh, me and my soldier that day, we agreed with each other. See you on the other side. We thought it was over with. Like, we truly thought our lives were done. But it wouldn't. God had plans for me. God had plans for me. But I'm sorry I skipped around a little bit, y'all. It's that attention thing. Back to Camden with Brother James. After joining the church there, it was real important for me to get the kids to Sunday school. Well, like most small churches, they have the old men's Sunday school class and they have the kids' youth class. I'm sorry, those old men that were going to that Sunday school class, they've been there since me and Anna had gotten married more than 10 years prior. I've not got enough wisdom to go to their class. I'm too dumb for that. So I'm going to the youth group. I can sit down with their kids and learn with them. Little did I know that was the direction that God was trying to move me to. After we after we quit going to church, when we was out here, wasn't happy. And we started going to Sand Ridge. They had a co-op school function, and that's what educated us a little bit about Sand Ridge. And I didn't want the kids going to that co-op without knowing something about the church. It's like, that's weird. No, I want to go see this church and see what they're about first. So that's what we did. And it was cool. It was great. I really loved Sand Ridge for a while. It wasn't long before I got involved in the youth group. When you're a retired dad, youth groups can kind of use retired dads because they know you're going to watch out for the kids and you've got a free schedule. So it worked out. And one day, I'm not going to go into all the reasons why, but they decided to remove me from the youth. And it'd been a couple weeks. And Anna pointed out to me, she says, "You're not happy." She says, "You're getting very miserable again." And it's like, yeah, I know, I'm trying. So I tried to start a Bible study group up there. It got ignored completely. One other guy showed up, and he was Catholic, but it was good. I mean, we could still relate and talk. I think, I don't think he was really Catholic. Like, he went to a Catholic church, yes, but he went there because of organization. In the Army, we're taught everything has to be organized. And the Catholic Church, I'm sorry, it is kind of, it's very organized. They're planned out. This is getting taught this day. They have a whole plan on what's going to be done when. And for the structure, I could see a lot of military guys wanting to do that. But myself, I enjoy the freedom. I enjoy letting the Holy Spirit speak and communicate with me. I think that's way more appropriate. I feel like the Catholic would be in the, come on. Who are the people that were against Jesus? Yeah, the Pharisees. I feel like the Catholics, the Pharisees. I might be wrong, but that's just in my head. That's what I feel like. They know too much. Sometimes we get too smart for our own good, I think. Yeah, there we went. Sorry, y'all. But things just was not going right at Sand Ridge. And Anna told me one day, she says, "We should probably find another church." I said, "I don't like finding another church, because when we find another church, we don't go to church for a year. I don't like that." And she says, "No, we're not missing church." I said, "Okay." So called my buddy Chris Carter up back there, and, "Hey, dude, where you go to church at?" Like, I thought maybe church in Jackson or something. I was like, "What? Wait, what? Bargerton? That's not right down the road." So here we come. I don't think we've missed very much at all since we've been here. The doors are open. There's nowhere else I want to be at. I want to be right here with y'all. Y'all are my family, every one of y'all. Brother Jeff was preaching. I was constantly having so much issues out of my kids. I couldn't figure out why. What's wrong? God, I'm holding my end of the deal. Why are my kids this? What's wrong here, Lord? Brother Jeff's message that morning: it's not enough to have your kids in church on Sunday morning and Wednesday night. That's not enough. Do your kids see you go home and drink, or your kids see you go home and read the Bible? What do they see you do? Do they see you pray? Nope. They didn't. Didn't see that. I go to church. I spend my time with the Lord at church. But when I wasn't here, I didn't live like I knew who God was. I just didn't. I was busy, had a life. Because of God. That's why I had a life. After a couple other messages, I sat there like, I never listened in church the way that I listened here. I more attentively listened to what Brother Jeff was preaching, and I'd never done that. So naturally, when you start listening, you start hearing. And so you've got to serve in your church. It's like, okay, I serve. So It's like, well, I'd already read the bylaws of the church. Well, I've not been here long enough to serve yet, so I'm gonna. One day it just started bothering me. I'm like, all right, Brother Jeff, like, you got to have something for me to do. He said, well, we'll see. And a couple weeks later, he comes to me and says, hey, how you feel about youth group? I don't know. Like, I want to pray about this because now I want the Lord involved in my decisions. I don't want to go out and do anything else on my own ever again. I'm an idiot. In case y'all didn't know, I am a complete idiot. I can say the wrong stuff at all the wrong times, or I can say the wrong stuff at the right time too. I don't know. I'm pretty good at being goofy or messing stuff up. In school one day, this kid had missed the one of our music tests, and the teacher asked the kid. She says, "Do you know what the song on the test is?" And I thought she was just asking him to ask him, so I told her what the song was right in front of him. My bad. She didn't want that answer. She had to figure out something else for him. Like I didn't know it on the test. I failed that test, but he knew it. I could say the wrong stuff. But with the Lord, He can show me to say the right stuff. Katie's birthday party, I dumped all those cupcakes in the floor. I think it was like 48 cupcakes. That was a big tray of cupcakes. Both ends had candles lit and everything. Just dumped them straight in the floor. Most people would get really upset. Most people would say some stuff, especially this person. My whole youth group was at the house for her birthday that day. I said, well, we need more cake. I wasn't as impressed with it in the moment as what I was later on when I thought about it. That was so unlike me to not get angry. But it was nice. It was nice to not get angry and get my blood pressure and anxiety and all that up. It was great. It's cupcakes. The candles went out when they crashed and that frosting went all over them. House ain't gonna burn down. It's okay. A couple of the kids even came in there and cleaned it up. I didn't even have to worry about it. I was crazy. I think they were expecting me to blow up, but it just didn't. No, it was a great day. But back to the youth group, and went home and I prayed about it. Me and Anna talked about it, and there was definitely an agreement between me and Anna and the Lord to take the position, and I am so happy that I did because it's led me and kept me in the Word on a regular basis. I never read the Bible until I got here. I had never read the Bible. I always said, I don't need to read the Bible. I can't understand it. If God wanted me to read the Bible, He would make it where I could understand it. That was pretty stupid. For someone who had always been there for me throughout my entire life. My childhood, it sucked. I hated it. Me and my stepdad, we had a great relationship. You know, he used to take my hands and hit me in the face with them and bust my lips open. And no, I didn't touch him. No, he did that. That was his. He did that to himself. Oh, that was my stepdad. He wasn't a cool person. So I learned from him what not to do. That's the way I've tried to do things. And I read a thing the other day. It said that men try to grow up to be what they needed as a young person. And I could see that. Because as I said earlier, no one taught me what to do as a 15-year-old boy who had just given his life to the Lord. No one showed me anything else. Nothing else. I didn't know anything. So I've grown into the person that I needed in my life at that age. I was bullied from 7th grade on every day I hated school. I hated everybody in it. I didn't want to be there. Life was horrible. I didn't understand why. I still get anxiety. These kids want me to come to their schools and talk, and it gives me anxiety. Like, I'm sorry that every school has that smell. That smell is something I relate now. It's like, as soon as I walk into a school, my anxiety goes up. I can't help it. So, but I will fight through that because that's what the Lord wants. He didn't put me through that to scar me. He put me through that to teach me to be able to show these kids that life does get better. And if we don't go through the pain, our pain and suffering, we will never see the greatness. If you never fall down, you're never going to know what pain is. If the worst thing you've ever felt in your life is a splinter, and the next thing you do is break your arm, that's going to be a big deal. I'm just saying. But you guys know majority of everything else of my life. We've gotten here. I started tithing. And the crazy thing is I don't miss it. I do not miss it, y'all. Like they always say, you always hear people say that. But I truly don't miss it. I'm not struggling at all. That's nothing but God. And now I'm at that other crossroads where the Lord showed me in my Bible yesterday morning that I'm supposed to give him 2.5 hours every day. I don't have time for that. I didn't have the money for that either. I didn't have the money for that. So if I want more time, I guess I probably need to give the Lord that 2.5 hours and see how much more time I can get. I don't have time not to give it to the Lord. I hope that my testimony has honestly inspired some of you young guys, okay? Ladies too, because I was saved at a young age and then I turned away. No one on the face of this earth can take away your salvation. When you are saved, when you are truly saved, you're saved. Okay? You can backslide. You can walk and pretend you're lost. Every one of you know where you're at right now, but you could walk out in that parking lot and act like you don't know where you're at. But we all know you do know where you're at. Yeah. So when you're saved, you're saved. You can ignore it as much as you want to, but the Lord's going to come back to you and he's going to say, hey, wake up. Time to stop playing. Let's get real. Start teaching. Had a dream last night. I was teaching a group of people. I don't even know who they were. There was a bunch of people in my class. I don't even know where I was at. But I was telling them about Jesus. And that, when I woke up, I was really happy because I don't have dreams like that a whole lot. It's usually more so nightmares and stuff that I don't want to remember. So when I have dreams about teaching about Jesus, that lets me know that I'm all right. But I'm not good enough. I ain't there yet. I got to keep going. And there's another thing I think I've said once before is there's 2 reasons to go to church. I love that every one of y'all come here, but there's 2 reasons. Either you're coming to build your relationship with the Lord, or you're coming to help others build their relationship with the Lord and strengthen each other.